This is scam. I would go 1.5 times or 2 times cheaper. Like this. And now we have another relationship. There is one event that happened to me last week that made me to record this video. I came to Canada when I was only 17. No money, no connections, and more importantly, no knowledge of how everything works. So I've gone almost through 4 years of total pain. Failing multiple dropshipping stores, failing the same agency model 3 times, and finally gaining almost 30 kilograms of weight. I can put how many pounds it is on the screen, just to try and get funding that was rejected for minority software startup. And only then, after all of this had happened to me, I finally saw the result. So I'm like, why not I give you some tips and tricks that work for me that help me to kind of have a good start so you could apply it to yourself. So basically the main reason for this video is that I got this letter from one of my very old acquaintances, and it was a job offer for a very good marketing position. And more importantly, I do not have modern education in marketing. Everything I have experience with was learned purely from books and courses that do not have official meaning. It means that they don't give you any fucking paper once you end the course. And if you're curious, I ended up accepting that offer because what it gives you is experience. That's something you cannot study in books. And all of this has proved my 4-year belief. Modern education is a scam. Everything can be achieved through connections and your own effort. You may ask me, why can I say this? Well, first of all, it's because of this job offer I mentioned. And the second reason, I'm currently a student in computing science diploma program, and I'm about to graduate. I even worked with the chemistry department on an actual app. So it was like kind of very close to a real experience, you know, developing something. I even went all in on game development just to extend my portfolio and reach, which I created a YouTube channel for. I got to a reasonable amount of people for that niche. And guess what? When the time came to applying for jobs and sending resumes for entry positions and for internships, I sent about 400 resumes. They're full of work, projects, and guess what? I got 0 interviews. Man, I got 0 interviews. I'm not talking about being hired. I got 0 fucking interviews. And guess what's worse? Graduating from an educational institution will not guarantee you a job. Maybe in Soviet Union times, you were almost guaranteed a job because knowledge was powerful that time. But right now, they don't give a fuck. So now answer this question. If graduating from a college doesn't provide you jobs, so you are basically taking a gamble, and you are taking a gamble when you're starting the business, you can answer for yourself what would be better to do. Obviously, the answer is to try, learn a new skill, try to sell it, start your own business, and develop in that way. So just to conclude all of this, if I was 3 years ago here and I had a chance not to go in college, note I could not do it because studying here in Canada, that's the only thing that keeps me in Canada. I would not go to a college. This is a complete waste of time. So now let's go to something I really want to share with you. Those are all my experiences and what I did in specific situations. So first of all, just to kick off, from wherever you are right now, you should get a job. I mean, you need to pay your bills somehow, right? There is nothing wrong here. Now, what kind of job? Well, if you go to some cafes, they will pay you nothing. But if you go to a laborer job, well, I know it's physically hard, you can get paid much more than any entry positions for the people that graduate and get jobs in their areas. I was doing gutter cleaning, home washing, pressure washing, window cleaning, and all of those kind of gutter services. So now let's decide if it's going to be part-time or full-time. So I would try to go for a part-time if it can pay your bills. Well, speaking for myself, my parents helped me with rent and food. So I could go completely part-time just to fund my business and having some extra expense. Yes, in my case, I used all the cards I have and there is nothing wrong with it. We're all in different situations, but for you, if you don't have the possibility of parents helping you, maybe try to move to a different location or try cutting your expenses, just so you could work part-time. And all of the other time, except for your part-time job, you would spend on learning a new skill. Whether it's marketing, whether it's sales, I don't know, whatever you like. Just pick one. After you learn that skill, you have to find a client. Well, you may ask me, how do I do it? I have a separate whole 15-minute video I did, or 20-minute video. It will be here on a screen that you can watch. I go in details of how to get your first client. But what I want to talk about is concept of deliverability, of how you should price your service and how you should deliver your service. So here is a hack of how to get not only clients, but to make them long-term. And here is the proof that I actually had a client for 6 months and clearly states that they want to work with me for a long term. So just you know that I'm not talking bullshit. So the key secret into making long-term clients that will stick to you. So let's say your client asks for a big franchise website. What I would do in here, I would go to ChatGPT, I would ask him what would be a fair price for these requirements, and he will tell me like 3 grand, right? And what I would do here, I would not charge this money because I'm just starting out. I would go 1.5 times or 2 times cheaper. Like this. Yes, you may say that it's not fair, but it's totally fair when you're starting out. So now once you did it, you're going ahead and delivering that service. But you're not just delivering it, you're delivering it 2 or 1.5 times better than the actual agency that would charge this money. So for this money, you're doing it 1.5 times or 2 times better. You may overwork for this money, you may work like 1 week for a 3-day job, but what it will give you is loyalty. Because once people see that you can charge lower and bring more quality to their business, they will be sticking with you because you are different from any other people that they took service from. So that is the main rule you should stick in the beginning once you're starting out doing the service. Now let's go to another tip. Once you're getting money from this job, so all of this money you're getting here, you're going to spend them on upgrading your equipment. You remember, you have a part-time job to fund your life, so this money you're spending only on equipment. You're reinvesting it for first initial 3 to 4 months just to get you set up and make the quality better. So this money, they will go to reinvest. In equipment. So let's say I do filming for my clients, right? I go to locations, I bring all my gear. I have a softbox. You can see a reflection somewhere here. I have a high quality of the video. You can see it right there. I film in 4K quality. And I have a bunch of other equipment you can see here on the screen too. So now once you have the equipment, you have a pretty good reason to charge more. After your first time your client works with me, what are you gonna do? You're gonna still preserve this, right? But now you're gonna move from 1.5 to 2 times cheaper to 1.2 to 1.5 times cheaper. Because your quality has increased, and when your quality increases, your prices increase. So I hope you got this concept. So next thing I want to talk about is connections. Well, you can think that connections are useless or you just underestimate their power. Well, they're very, very important. Before I go really into the networking, I want to tell you what is a scam in networking. I would say this way. What you should remember until the rest of your life is that this is scam. So this is scam for a very particular reason. I've been to 4 and 5 networking events for my software engineering because I thought I would get something from it. But what I saw and what I had been seeing all the time is that every person there wants something from you. Not with the intent to meet you and become like long-term friends, they just want to get something from you. Maybe you will give them a job, maybe you will give them other connections that will give them a job. It's not a sincere meeting. And moreover, all the speakers on those events are promoting themselves. And on every networking event, after the end, we had only a 20-minute window just to get to that speaker and ask him for a job. That's everything that is happening. Don't expect that you will meet someone really worthy there. So, well, what you should focus on are natural connections. Like you meet people naturally. And I will tell you 2 case studies that I had for myself and how they benefit me. Well, the first one is how I found my best friend. It was just a regular college day and we were split up in the groups by our professor. And I was just asking about one person from another person. And that another person I talked to, we just randomly started conversating about business and what we were trying to achieve in our lives. And well, our interests aligned perfectly. And now that guy is my best friend and almost the only person I talk to on a daily basis. He has much more experience than I do. He saved me numerous times from doing some stupid shit, and it worked vice versa. And now it's been going from 3 to 2 years. I know this guy. And all of that happened because we met naturally. We became friends just by speaking, meeting each other, doing some little things that then grew up in big things, and putting efforts from both sides. That's what I call a real connection. Another thing, when I had my ex here in Canada, me and her family were attending some church events. So in these church events, we were just sitting at a table, and obviously I was obsessed with business that time. I was talking about dropshipping and marketing, something I had been learning for a long time. Well, and there was a particular guy who was sitting at a table, and I took his number just for future events, right? So obviously we were talking every time we were attending those events, and I figured out that this guy works in a marketing company. Then once I started my own agency, I didn't know shit. I didn't know how to work with people. I didn't have any experience. So what I did, I just messaged him and asked for a tip. It was a question about what I can do better in my campaign when I was working with my first free client. So he helped me out. I showed him that I actually got results with his method, and the conversation was done. You remember that screenshot, the job offer I showed you in the beginning? It happened 1 week ago, 2 years apart, just because this guy knows I'm doing marketing, he's assembling his team, and he messaged me if I want to join for a media buying position. That is the main power of connections. You might not expect something, but it can happen to you just from a person who you didn't expect it from. Now I want to talk about how connections and good relationships with your clients play a big role. So let's say we have me, and we have my client that I had been working for half a year with. Let's call him D, 6 months. Now this guy D, he knows guy named N. So N does his own business. Now N goes to D and asks him, yo dude, I had been doing my business and I really want to have this cool video on my website page, or maybe some promo that I can show to my friends and show them how cool I am, right? So obviously he asks, D, do you know some people that will help me do this? Well, since D had been working with me for half a year and I had been bringing a lot of quality, D goes ahead and shows the videos I do for him to N. Now N becomes obsessed with the quality. So N asks D for my phone number. And now we have another relationship. Now that N can know 3 more people, but it's like a virus spreading. So just having one person, meeting one person, doing the service for him can open you multiple possibilities that can benefit you in the future. So let's say you have another long-term client, K. You have another long-term client, G. They all will have clients. And your business will spread much faster. You will be getting calls from all of those unknown people, and they're like, yo, you did a good job for this guy, for D, and I wanna have the same. That's the real power. If you develop enough long-term clients, you will have access to multiple more clients that will be loyal if you do, obviously, a good job for them. So guys, that's everything I wanted to cover today. That's all that had been happening with me for 4 years. That's all that I had figured out on myself. So if you see this beneficial for you and you think that you can use it, just make sure you hit a like button under this video, and this will help me produce the valuable content for you and maybe for everyone else.